Hi everyone, so today I am doing a prediction sort of channeling, but it's not the part 2 of October predictions, but it is a psychic predictions. Okay, and there might be some downloads that come at the end, but this is about getting a message to you during this time, like a channeled message for during this time. I will pull cards because in part 1 of October, as I'm recording this, you as a subscriber would not have seen the October predictions yet. And that's because it's on members and Patreon first, and probably by the next day you're seeing it. So in that reading, it's important that you checked the description box. And here I'm gonna basically channel a message for these times at the moment. And I did want to be on camera, so sorry about that, patrons, members, and obviously subscribers. When you see this, normally you'd be used to me being on camera, patrons and members. So we are going to try and keep it in the language of love that YouTube likes, although honestly it doesn't even support the channel. It's really disheartening. I don't know how to explain it. It's difficult for somebody who's not a content creator to understand, especially when you raise the issues and they are not resolving them, and it will take 2 months of me being persistent and then it's acknowledging. That energy that I get frustrated in actually drains my energy. But anyway, that's what it is. So with your support of liking, commenting, sharing, as I've mentioned, it doesn't take anything from you. If you want content and the channel to be continued, to put an emoji in the comment, to give it a like, to give it a share. And also it's important to let me know what readings you do enjoy. Give the ones that are maybe titles you're not necessarily interested in, give them a go, because you might get something out of them. I know you'll get something out of them. So I'm just going to start off now with a little bit of a channeling message I wanted to give you. I did mention in the part 1 of October, we are in a transformative time, okay? It's a chaotic time. And your spirit, the universe, is going to be there to help you stay strong, to show you have the power. And channels like myself, and I believe a lot of larger channels will be doing the same. It's okay to enjoy the conspiracy theory tarot readers. I think it's good, and that's why I have a break from reading missing child and Xing cases, which my energy's kind of depleted unless spirit pushes me. So yes, Sebastian Rogers is on my list, and I can probably do an energy probe into the parents, into the energies. That is easy for me, but channeling, as I want to say Sebastian, I can see him smiling like he's or into the location map, into a bit of a deeper dive, is difficult. So I can do that, and I know I had a vote for that on the last poll. So I can do that. I mean, a lot of readers that are constantly doing it are probably picking at certain questions where they don't have to deep dive and they're just pulling tarot. They don't have to channel their energy. The current times we're at tail end moments of the old systems, of the old setup. And this is at least 20 years, but I'm talking also of hundreds of years of built-in systems that were being, obviously they're different to now. So what I'm explaining is they were being built into the universe, and I'm getting the word echoed through time to be developed and implemented. And now it's the shedding of that, the clearing, the cleansing, and with that comes the karma. Why do I feel I need to check the camera? Because I'll be peed, seen as I'm channeling. Yes, okay. And members and Patreons, there will be a Q&A, and subscribers, if you want to see this edition of the Q&A, let me know, because I have to be filtered. So we're on the tail end of chaos, and the clearing of the old conditions, cultures. And by cultures, I don't just mean like, for example, you're from the UK and you go to an Arab or Thailand, an Arab country, I don't know, let's say Jordan. It's kind of a different culture. I'm talking about even cultures of how maybe your grandparents were brought up. That I'm talking about even internal cultures. And the old way is shedding. So don't lose hope, everyone. And this is also, as a person who's probably going through not the easiest time at the moment, I am with you on these things as well. So we have to keep our hope, keep our vibration pure, show the love, connect yourself to yourself, but also to others through love. It's very important not to lose your soul and yourself through this. That's why I said, if you're starting to feel fear, it's probably not the right time to watch conspiracy, etc. If you're needing some space to divert your energy, your mindset, because there's too much worries like financial worry, etc., do what you need to do, but make sure then you don't become attached from an element of fear. This includes media. The chaos is ramping up, so you might be like, how comes it's shedding away but it's ramping up? Remember, a boiling pot needs to ramp up before it overflows. And when it overflows, all right, usually if you've forgot it, you turn it off or turn it down, and then it comes to a simmer, right? If you don't turn it down, then you're going to burn the pot. And we're going into a different metaphor. I don't know what spirit wants me. I didn't write this metaphor down, but like, just giving you an example. So it is ramping up because it's time to break away from these old systems. And it also means you're going to find people that want to attach to these systems, because we fear change as humans, all right? And what we know feels safer, especially when we're going through hard times. Before this, I was going to say, before it falls all over the place that I make a mess, I'm going to put it in the candle, but it fell and it's okay. And there'll be many people that are fighting for old systems, fighting for old people, idolizing people and power. And before anyone says something, I am not talking about Trump and people that are supporting Trump, all right? I am not talking about that. I think you'll find there's very much elevated people that are supporting, okay, I've said his name, Duck, and it's probably for what they believe is clear to them. There's a lot of people that be following Democrats as well, whatever it is. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about old systems, old power, where it's about the fight of control and the government and the organizations to control us, where now we're trying to be a bit more human. Have you noticed how since 2019 we were put in a position where it led us to start questioning ourselves? Did we ever question our doctor, our lawyer, our I don't know, police officer prior to that? Not so much, okay? Unless you was a teenager who was like, I know, is kind of rough and is like, what do you want from me? You might say that to your police officer, but usually we would not question them. Now we question them though. We know they're human. Yes, they have power within the system, and we know we've seen people that are being eliminated in certain ways. But at the end of the day, we are more awakened. And I'm sure some of you know what I mean by this. It's important not to fight for these systems that need to crumble. It's important to find yourself and just be in the present moment. Yes, Zain, I hear that. Not the anxiety of the future and the worries. Some of us are very worried, and it's important to understand it is the hundreds of years of echoed systems that were being implemented, built on, built on, built on, built on, built on, that are needing to be burnt away. And it also means, like I said, the karma goes. Open your heart, open your homes. Look at Hurricane Helene. And I don't know if it's Helen or Helene, but I mentioned I can do a reading on that. I can do a reading from a human and a higher spirit channeling message. And I can also look into it in terms of conspiracy, okay? It's up to you. I mentioned in the Global Psychic Predictions Part 1, if you want that, because I think there's going to be a lot of people that say it's man-made to destroy, take over land, and then psychics that copy other psychics. And if the channel gets bigger, I'm going to call some of these people out, especially one. And there's some that say they're conspiracy readers, and I think that's totally fine. But when there's a lot of chaos and fear and people trust in your readings, that is not a way to go. I know it grows your channel. And I'm not saying this from a place of whatever, but it's not nice for people to be in fear when there's a lot of things going on and we don't know what's going on in people's lives. It can be a pressure pot, and Spirit is reminding me of there was a lady who I didn't do a reading on, but I feel like, and I was thinking to do a reading. Her name is Gaina. Is it Gaina Lord? Basically, she's a lady in her 50s from the same area, I believe, that Nicola Bully was. Again, that's a triggering name for YouTube. And I think her mental health and the pressure just got so much when I think of doing a reading on her, and I don't know anything. But I know there's a lot of things like, why are people in the river going missing being found? And I presume a lot of psychics have done a reading on her and probably found something else. But I know it personally, like, and I'm sure some of you also know it personally, where you try to escape your mind. And people that seem strong maybe sometimes need that gentle touch, and bring that to your awareness, because you never know that little thing that you could do that could stop that person from mentally snapping and wanting to just escape. So open our hearts, look at this Hurricane Helene, and I haven't looked into it fully because I wanted to do a reading, but I think there's a lot of devastation and loss, and the reading that I want to do is about coping with that as well, as why I'm doing this message. This is not only for the US, this is for everywhere. This message is for us worldwide. You would have seen the world as the thumbnail or the cover that I'm thinking to put. And I want you to tune into it. If you've got a spare bedroom, if you've got a garage that's made into, you know, some people have got like a, what do you call those things in the England? Oh, forgot it. When you have a pantry at the back, it's not called a pantry. We call it something else. Or the name's gone from me. Can you help maybe an old neighbor you've known? Maybe you have like an old car and it can only get you like, let's say $1,000, I don't know, $1,000 or something, like, I don't know, a couple of £100, and you are pretty well off and you're just thinking to buy it or sell it to the scrap for them to do whatever. Could you donate something that's in working order? You've got a closet that you've maybe it's a gathering of a closet of things that you've wanted to give to charity. Maybe now is it the time? Is it a time where you've stocked up on food of prep, and that food is maybe going to expire if you don't eat it soon? Can it be donated to people that need it? This is going to be a time where these things occur, and we need to find people are going to need to turn to their communities. And if you're not in that position, can you be there for that person? It doesn't even have to be that. Can you hold a prayer of love? And through this video, that is what we're doing, whether it's for the Middle East, whether it's for Palestine, whether it's for the victims in Hurricane Helene, whether it's for your own, for example, if you've got a sibling or a mother or a brother that's going through a very difficult time. It's about that. It's about coming together and friendships. We need to be there for the victims of such systems and the old way that is falling away. Many people that have been caught up in this are victims that, because of the old system shedding, people become victims of that. And so, can we be there? Some of these are actually innocent people and they've got no place to be. Look at Palestine. They've got no place to be. Can we be there in some sort of way? Okay. Can we send food for the Hurricane Helene people? Prayers, whatever it is, like I mentioned. And I'm not going to say we're going to see less chaos or suddenly this is going to calm down. No, but we're going to notice that what we see, the chaos is going to be in most communities. It's going to be across industries, whether it's travel, strikes, the predictions that I've said, where there could be dark moments of cyber. And Spirit is bringing back to me the prediction where I said about systems going down. Like one was maybe one. I was going to say one is probably a bank, but I've mentioned banks before in last year's October, and it seems like Spirit is saying was, because there might have been something a few days ago where, you could have seen maybe in the news, and let me know whatever country you're in. If, for example, your bank has had the systems gone down, so suddenly you can't access it, or your bank balance is something different, or something. Spirit is bringing that there was something recently, and the unions, the fight for unions, like we've seen the strikes of the ports. With the ports, it's not going to go long enough where you don't have food, okay? But at this moment, I don't know how badly done these strikers are, but it could be that your food or costs go up just a little bit for a while they try to stabilize, to get the strikers in so that they can spend more time with their family, days off. I don't know if this is something why they are striking. But again, it's going to be the same when we have protests and strikes in the UK and other areas. And I do see, I've mentioned in the past, I do see like a music event or something that's going to have like a terror attack or a breakdown. Oh, why did I say terror? I'm just going to continue. Breakdown. Disclaimer, this for entertainment purposes only. The nail is there, the full disclaimer is there. But it could be just to support them for this moment in some time to get them back in. Remember, I'd mentioned for the UK, there's like a dark day, but it's not like the whole day. So it could be this where the bank has gone down as well. I do feel like there's something around that in the US as well. There's a lot going on, okay? And there's a lot not being told around Iran and his situation. And especially when it reflects back on okay? They're tying the political movements in with Islamic religion, and that needs to be taken out, okay? Even some psychics that are very large channels, they're mixing it all up, and it's wrong. You can't, it's not, this is not about religion, okay? This is about politics, okay? This is about greed, but when certain countries try to ally with their countries, it's because it's kind of like, this is my brothering, let's say, Arab country, it's a brothering Islamic country. We're told in Islam to stand together, to stand for humanity, to stand with what's right, what's wrong. And so then that's when Islam comes in from their perspective of why they're standing with Lebanon and Palestine. Iran is also, um, someone in Iran, remember, was recently took out, and we know that who that's from. Okay, I did a reading on this, so I knew Iran was going to come forward. So, you know, you're taking their leaders out, and then there's this situation, but it's nothing to do with why, it's nothing to do with Islam. And I am for all religions. I just believe in God. It doesn't matter anyone's faith, my faith, your faith. I'm just educating on a message here. And again, it's all about where we can shed love, all right? Remember, especially Western channels, we're not being told everything on that situation. It will escalate, and then it will completely shift to a bit of a more peaceful resolution. The resolution will not necessarily be in favor of the minorities like Palestine. It's going to be very difficult, but it might take a long time to completely shift and get to that peaceful resolution of what it's kind of like. One party, one side is like, well, we just need to swallow this because it's better than becoming extinct, basically. Pray, and those people are victims of the old systems of leaders and hierarchy and Capricornian energy coming, trying to be broken down, okay? And that's where they probably don't have a land, but then we have to be careful because some countries provide more for such people than their own citizens. We need to pray for those people. We also, you've got the US that are providing weapons, okay? And so you've got those government people that are making these choices to make access to such weapons for certain countries to use and have. They need to shift their decision, their mind, their crown chakra, their belief from justice and retaliation. And justice itself has an old meaning, all right? It's not the new meaning. We now need to look at justice, and the reason they need to look at stuff is from equality and harmony, not justice and how I see it, the old meaning of retaliation. And this also goes to larger countries like, okay, the UK is small, but the UK and anyone else that could get involved. So, for example, we've got Russia and Ukraine. So it's those people that it's difficult for them, but it's difficult to pray for them, but their mindset needs to change because they're making it accessible. I had a question on the mayor who's in the news, I believe. And I think he will have a lot of charges. Is this the mayor from New York? So I do think he'll have a lot of charges. That's one question. Florida, okay, you might need to become aware there's probably a storm, okay, but it's not going to be how anything that's happened right now, okay. I feel like the meteorologists or the weather people are not really able to hit on where it's going to be or if it will affect Florida. I think they're not hitting on the right way. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm getting that download. So you might see some movement or something or a prediction saying northeastern areas. I don't know, where is that? Is that Alabama? I don't know. But it's moderate. It's not like, was this last one maybe a Cat 4? It's moderate. It's not, I don't know the categories, but I would say it's not like a 3 or 4. I have to look at the highest. It's kind of like in the October predictions I said about stormy, rain, landslides is going to be big, but This one is less wind. It's a lot lighter. So this could be something just in terms of awareness. And again, I mentioned what land and rain and landslides, and this could be, this is global, okay? These disasters are pushing us to rely on our humanity community. So please have open hands to those that will need to rely on you when you can. I had a question about, what's this question? Oh, DC, will there be uprest after the election or around the election? I think there will be. I feel there will be some civil uprest around the election or just after. So I would say stay home if you can. Just stay out of that way. Remember, through everything I've just said, the universe is going to come in when you feel you're in your darkest moments or a loss and really lift you up, so please don't have fear, and people are going to arrive. This is angels or earth angels. You know, I've mentioned about earth angels. I've mentioned about having a bad day and you step in and you I don't know, the guy at Pret says, oh, you can have your coffee on me. And you was going into Pret and you're like, I can't spend this money, but I fancy a coffee. And I've had to, I don't know, a couple of years not be able to have something. I'm going to treat myself, you know, and you kind of like, effort, I'm going to do it. And I don't know, you had a phone call that really upset you and you go in and the Pret guys, you know, this is on us. You know, these are earth angels to restore your trust. I would say there is kind of a tornado energy. Again, I think this is going to be northeast area, but I feel like it's moving. Oh no, I think it's Midwest, so Midwestern region, but it's kind of moving from northeast. Okay, it's gonna come fast through northeast into the Midwest area. But again, if you hear of this, whenever you hear of this, I'm not saying only October, whenever you hear of this, if you hear something like that, I would just move out the way. It's not going to be disastrous. I just want to say that, not to cause fear. I'm not tapping into the energy so much, but just move out the way. That would be my advice. England, I'm going to do some more psychic predictions for you, but I want to do a reading on Kia. And then the October psychic predictions, there's going to be more in terms of the UK in the next running up. But I would say we need to be careful of rain and floods. And I don't know why I'm seeing the drainage not coping with the floods, which means there's yucky stuff coming out the drain in that water. So just be careful there. The price of gold. So let me pull a card on this. This is like, you're testing me, whoever's asked this. Oh, it's your mother. Okay. Price of gold. I feel it's going to be on hold. Okay, so yeah, it's on hold. If anything, it's going to fluctuate. Or you're going to think it's going to fluctuate, but it's going to go on hold. There might be a day where you see a drop and you're kind of like in panic, but it's just going to remain a little bit on hold as opposed to what it could be. But I want you to know that I'm not a financial advisor or a gold expert. Israel and Palestine, I'm going to do a separate reading. If you're interested, please let me know. But I'll prob that in the next October, because it's important, by the way. And make sure you check out the job description. The description box of the October part 1, because there's some notes in that. So it's just, if you can do, it helps for when you watch that reading. You've probably watched it by the time you see this. I do want to give a little bit of advice in terms of empaths. And I might go into, I mean, I mentioned about weather manipulation and geo engineering, but I do want to say that don't get hooked up on the current conspiracy that your government is doing these geomagnetic things to harm you. Leave that. I'm going to go into that a bit later on, but don't put that in your mind. Don't plant it in your seed right now. There's a good and bad thing about geomagnetic mirroring, especially when it comes to solar flares. So I'll cover this in the next one. Listen to your heart. Don't lose faith. And the right people, the right angels, the earth people will show up at the right time. I mean, if you find this and it brings you solace or peace, please let me know in the comments, because it makes the energy I put out there somewhat worth it. Now, empaths, what we need to do during this time, find peace, find a quiet place, even if it's 2 minutes. Breathe deeply if you're feeling you're getting anxious. Ground yourself. And don't get, this is something I struggle with, okay? Even on a family perspective. Like, I could be going through heaps of SHIT, and then a family member just messages me and is like, I'm struggling with this, and I drop everything and I'm there within a moment, or I can't sleep, I'm start worried, sick, etc. And sometimes those people are suffering a lot more, and if we can be there, but you need to also make sure your energy is not getting depleted, and your pain is there, but you're not taking on their pain double than what they're feeling as well. So manage, don't get pulled into pain of energy. If you can, try to manage that. I am not saying ignore people, but as empaths, you might know what I'm saying. When you feel your energy is too slipping, you're getting sick, you're not feeling well, we're about to end this as this stick ends as well. Look at that. How beautiful is that? And that's my healing essence stick, right? So we've got a healing session today. Oh, we did through this. But avoid confrontations during, I would say, especially around the 11th, okay? We need to avoid confrontations. And what would be Wednesday? Wednesday is what? Wednesday the 9th, hopefully you'll see this, is probably a good day for social events. It's a mixed bag this upcoming week, but I'm going to leave that for later. I really wanted to get this message out. I would like to pull a message and a crystal, should you wish to use a crystal. Too many cards here. There's 3 crystals. What chakra totally aligns with my message? What chakra do you think came up as for this crystal? Giving you a moment. Are you ready? Moldavite. The message says unconventionality. Your unique qualities are an important part of your life purpose. It's okay to feel and be different from others. Very important. Remember how I mentioned shedding away from old systems, being in yourself, finding yourself. This does connect us to the heart chakra. It also connects us to our higher state of power. It brings communication with your higher self. Remember I said connection to higher self. It's its own cosmic oversoul, which is interesting. I was going to say, should I call this the cosmic universe, something in the title, but I might confuse people thinking they're going into a space capsule or something. But it's a stone that it's actually originally a gemstone, but it has its own cosmic oversoul, and it can put you in touch with ascended masters, cosmic messengers, which is what we've just done in this channeling. and it assists you in developing from the mundane, earthbound securities, the fears that I've just mentioned, and issues around monies and worries of the future. I mean, spirit never fails to deliver with my channeling. I love that. So Moldavite, I actually don't have this gemstone. If you do, let me know in the comments. But that's what I have. I'm wondering whether to pull from this as well. I want to see what angel card we can have as well. That's instruction cards I don't use. This reading will not only be for October, it's for months. Okay, so come back, visit it, share, save, like. It's an important message. It could be a message that you use to ground yourself. Archangel Michael, how beautiful. We don't have many Archangel cards in this. I think there's about 3. There's Angel Samuel. Most of it is words. I think there's about 3 or 4. Angel Zadikul, I think that's Angel Raphael. There could be 5 again, because we're missing Gabrielle. Right, so Archangel Michael, let's read this together. But Michael is protection and strength and very multi, okay? When you are blessed with this angel card, you are guided to invoke Archangel Michael to help you protect and strengthen you again. Remember I said about strength, find your strength, and you will be held up. He will increase your ability to deal with problems, so ask him to cut with this sword any emotional cords that bind you to people, stuck situations, fears. I've added fears, but it doesn't say that. Past memories. Then ask him to fill you with strength and love. He will shield you from the destructive thoughts, emotions, actions of others. Archangel Michael works on the blue ray, giving strength and courage. Call for his help and visualize yourself wearing a deep blue cloak, securely fastened. This will place you under his protection. He is the master of all angels, a great warrior of spirit. Within his light, you will feel more secure, have more confidence, energy, and power. Beautiful messages there. Definitely in line with this channeling that I felt called to do. Though I don't think it will get many views, but I think if you give it a chance, it's probably going to help you. Take care of yourselves, stay blessed, and bye for now.